A warning from Jace Medical. Even if the war stops, the shortages won't. Because ships move slowly, the US has been running on oil that set sail months ago. But that buffer is running out. Asia is already feeling it. Europe is feeling it. Africa is feeling it. Demand is increasing as supply tightens, and it's what's been raising your power bill and gas prices. But those last ships to the US just arrived, and even if things stabilize, the ripple effects will last much, much longer, because oil doesn't just power your car. It powers the systems that make and deliver your medications, and when supply slows, shortages begin.
The difference between panic and peace is preparation with Jace.
The Jace case is a doctor-prescribed emergency supply of essential medications and prescription antibiotics delivered right to your door so you're ready before you need it. No waiting, no scrambling, just control. Get your Jace case today at jace.com.
We love our pets. They're our best friends as we navigate life's ups and downs with a wag or a purr just when we need it. The Royal Veterinary College is there for our pets, home to Europe's largest small animal referrals hospital, with over 200 specialists providing expert care 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The bond between a pet and their person is worth fighting for, and that's the belief that inspired the RVC Memory Tree. A beautiful handmade sculpture standing in the heart of the RVC Small Animal Referrals Hospital, adorned with gold, silver and copper leaves, each one engraved with the name of a beloved pet, and each one funding the extraordinary work happening there every day. For just £10 a month, you can dedicate a leaf in the name of your pet, celebrating your pet's life, whilst also helping to fund life-saving treatment and care for animals in need. Visit rvcact.com/memory tree to dedicate a leaf today and let your pet's memory live on.
On this week's episode of The Final FronTia. I would be genuinely a dreadful traitor, because at that round table, if someone was like, I think you're a traitor, I'd just go, fine, yeah, sure.
yeah. I was like, the Pope flirting with my mum. That's her claim to fame.
And also he sounds like the Fonz from Happy Days. I want people to react like I'm reacting when I tell people that I met Ariana Grande.
What was she like?
Fine, but she's not the Pope. Let's chat. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hi. Welcome. Thank you for coming.
No, thank you for having me.
I am going to go on the record and apologise to you in front of these people for the fact that I was late for the first time not the first time in my life. It's a rare occasion, so I'm very sorry, but thank you for being here.
It's all good. It's all good. Unfortunately, I'm always early, so it makes it seem a lot worse.
You were exceptionally early, I can't lie.
I was in the army. I like being early. I always have to be early for things. I always say I'd rather be early than massively late, but it's not your fault.
No.
Anyway, just so everyone knows, you had a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, true.
And we'd rather your health be top notch than you be worrying about a podcast with me, so don't stress.
I love that the military and musical theatre have one thing in common, and that is early is on time, on time is late, and late is unacceptable.
100%.
Thank you for being here. I want to ask you first a question about reality TV.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, iconically, being on an incredible, extremely popular, well-loved reality TV show, was there a reality TV moment when you were growing up that made you think, oh, I want to do that?
I'm actually massively not a TV kind of guy.
Gasp.
I'm very like YouTube and Netflix kind of chill guy. You know, like growing up as a kid, I was always in the woods or falling from a tree. So my TV experience when I was a kid was, you know, Steve Irwin and the Crocs out in Australia.
No.
So I was like I grew up on like David Attenborough. I used to love, I still love David Attenborough.
Yeah.
You know, like it made me love sharks and things like that. But I think the one thing I used to always watch with my mum and dad was Celebrity Big Brother.
Iconic.
And I'm a celeb, get me out of here. You know, every Christmas time, we'd be sat there together. And I would never forget the moment when I was a kid and I would always see the challenges. I was like, I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that to test myself. Because especially everyone thinks I'm not scared of anything because I have no fear, which scares the life out of my mum.
Yeah.
But I'm actually scared of everything.
Same.
I just convince myself, no, you're not scared. But if a spider comes flying across the floor or somewhere or in my window, especially now when it's super hot, I'm petrified and I'm like, get that thing out, you know, and I try and help it out because people say it's our ancestors. So I'm like, can't kill an ancestor. So I got to keep this spider alive. But sometimes they're scary as hell. So when I used to see it as a kid, I was like, I'd love to challenge myself doing that. And I remember the time, you remember Fatima? Put the helmet thing on and the thing got stuck up her nose.
Yeah.
And since then, I've always been scared of insects and things getting up and into weird cracks and crevices.
I love that. There's so much to unpack from that. I feel like the combination of things that you said make total sense for something like the Traitors, because you've got this like sense of adventure that comes from like watching Steve Irwin and all of that kind of thing, and then a bit of a reality TV sensibility from Christmas with the Fam, which I kind of live for.
Yeah.
Was it like the experience that you thought it was going to be?
Do you know what? The funniest thing about the Traitors was I always thought this can't be real. You know, like it felt like a dream. And I think the best way to explain it, people always say, you know, how's your life changed? And it's like, imagine winning the lottery in a lottery game you didn't know you was playing. Because it's changed my life massively. And then even when I was there, because you've got to think, I was a guy in the army.
Yeah.
I'd been in the army for 6 years, since I was 16. And I always thought, who would ever want to see this idiot on TV? You know, like there's no way. Because I got a message on Instagram. Like literally from a castle.
Oh, you got scouted?
Yeah, so I had never seen the Traitors. This is why it was crazy. It was a crazy coincidence because I was there one day, you know, hating life, sort of staring at the ceiling. Because I'm always one of these people that needs more. I need change. I need to keep my brain ticking. You know, what's the next thing I can accomplish?
Yeah.
And the army was amazing, but my time had sort of passed. You know, I started living for the Fridays. So I remember I was on a supervisor course and I was staring at my ceiling and I got a message on Instagram. And I'd never used social media at this time. Again, I wasn't a social media person either. I didn't even have TikTok downloaded at this point. You know, like I would just do my work, go back to my room, play PlayStation, fall asleep. And I got a message from a caster saying, hey, Harry, we think this is Kate from like, you know, series 1 of the Traitors.
Shout out to Kate.
She's an amazing woman, by the way. And yeah, we're casting season 2 and we think you'd be a great look. Have you ever thought about it? And I was like, literally, no thanks, scam. I literally thought it was a scam because who's ever going to message me that? Who's ever going to message anyone normal that question? And I remember I was like, no, thanks, scam. And she was like, no, Harry, this is a real person. And I was like, yep, that's what any scammer would say. You know, I'm not giving you my bank details. I have nothing myself, so go away. And I remember I was there for a couple of days just staring at these messages and she said, well, you know, here's my email address, here's my number. And I'd sort of spoke to a few people about it. And luckily my partner's in the industry. So I showed her and she was like, you know, if this is a scam, they wouldn't leave their personal email address or personal number to get in contact with. So I was laying there and I thought, oh, why not? Why not just ring it? And I remember I rung it and she answered the phone and she just said, hello. Obviously didn't have my number saved. And I was like, oh my days, you are real. And she was like, well, this is Harry. And then I was like, yeah, hello, I can't believe you're real. And she was like, no, I told you I was. And I was like, yeah, all right. Wow. And then she spent ages explaining the game, explaining the Traitors. And I always thought, oh yeah, this sounds quite cool. Yeah, I'd win this if I was a traitor because I'd play these sort of games with my brothers and sisters. And I grew up with brothers and sisters, loads of them, cousins. And I always had to win at everything I did or at least give it my best shot. So I remember just thinking that. But I still thought, nah, I'm never actually going to be on TV. And then right at the end of the conversation, she goes, oh, and also there's prize money you can win.
Love.
I was like, really? She goes, yeah, you can win up to 120 grand. And I remember I just said to her, Kate, and she was like, what? I was like, why did you not start with that? She was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I would do a lot worse for 120 grand. I was like, where do I sign up and how do I do it? And then literally it went boom, 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 sent off my audition tape, call with the execs the next day. And then within 2 weeks, I was up in Scotland playing the game. So as you can see, it was like a whirlwind. My feet never really landed.
That's actually wild.
Yeah.
Did Kate, the legend that is, ever explain how and why she found you?
I asked her this question, and basically, I have 2 really close friends. They're 2 Welsh TikTokers called Ian and Kane.
Okay.
And they went on the show called Gaze in Paradise, I think it's called. And again, they're great. And I met them on a cruise. So this was the times of me being a +1 for my partner. And I absolutely loved it. I could sit there, drink all the cocktails in the world, take a couple of sloppy photos, and then the edit hopefully does me justice so I don't have to retake them. And that was the best time ever. And we had a cruise, which was the best. And like I said, they were on this show. And Kate was a caster on that show.
Right.
And then obviously me, Ian and Kane, we spent a few nights together, like having a party, having a good time. And they started posting TikToks of like us together. Oh. And so and so did my partner. Obviously, was posting me the whole time after being like a year or so together. And she said, yeah, I just came across you on TikTok on their pages. You seem very, very natural and stuff on camera. Yeah. And then she pinged me the message on Instagram.
That's wild.
Yeah.
To get on Drag Race, I had to do like a full audition tape, like a psych evaluation and like interviews and stuff.
But also I think this is what saved me because you must have been so nervous, right?
Terrified, yeah.
Yeah, because you were so excited to do it. Whereas for me, because I didn't really know what was going on half the time, I just went with the flow. Whereas there was people who loved the Traitors game. And for me, it was like, well, I'm just here because I heard I could win 120 grand. And all I've got to do is lie to a few people. Whereas for you, when you love something so much, it has that sort of pressure and them nerves.
Yeah.
But I guess you still enjoyed it.
Yeah,
You must have loved it.
Yeah, loved it. Loved it the second time when we had prize money as well. First time, well, never mind. Do you think people fall victim of overplaying it? Because you said people like really love the game. Do you think that's part of the problem?
Yeah, I think it's the same with everything really, isn't it? It's like taking life too seriously.
Yeah.
It's like playing the game, and I always remind people it is a game. So you can't get fully into it. You can't lose your mind into the game. You know, it's not a reality.
Yeah.
So just always take a step back and realize why you're there and what you're doing it for. Because for me, I think that's why I managed to go all the way and win the show, because I was always there like, why am I here? You know, I'm there for my family who have loved me for 22 years of my life. We've never really had much. You know, we've always had what we needed, but never what we wanted in life. There's so many of us. So it was like, I'm here for them, and sort of reminding myself, you know, these people I've been with, I've only known them for how many ever weeks. So murdering them, I'm not actually murdering them in real life, you know, so I could sort of take
pretend.
You know, it is pretend. They're not actually like being left up in the castle and being buried up there. They are still alive, just saying. So it was like just reminding yourself that and taking your emotion out of it. And again, that comes with me, one, not really knowing the game, but two, just everything I've been through in life. So yeah, of course, I would say people always overplay it and people get way too into it. And it's like people come up with plans, right? So like people had seen series 1. I know someone in our series had watched series 1 like 7 times because they wanted to come up with a game plan. And it's like, well, things like this you can't plan for, because if you don't know what's going to happen next, how can you plan for it? And then when you try and plan for it, if something happens the way that you haven't planned it to happen, you're stuck in the mud. And then you lose your marbles and it's like, oh, well, I don't know what to do now. Whereas for me, it's like, okay, this just happened. I'll go with the flow. And
you
then
can
I
be
get
more
over
flexible.
this. Yeah, I just go off sort of what's happening.
I love that. This is like actually hilarious timing, because this weekend I organised my friend Tom's stag do, and the whole like weekend was Traitors themed. I was Claudia, obviously, and that was like literally how we formatted it. Do you find it like strange when you see things like people existing in the real world sort of like doing their own versions of it, or like being obsessed with the show?
I think it's cool. And I mean, obviously I watch the show now. I fully understand why people love the show so much.
Yeah.
You know, it's so addictive, and it's just something you can't script. I mean, you're putting a bunch of people in there, all with different life stories, all who are normal people, and you never know how it's going to go. And it's exactly like how it is when we're up there. You know, it's like you never know how it's going to go, because someone could tell a lie. Don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful and very lucky with how my series went, because all it takes is someone to come in and say, Harry said this, and lie about it, when I didn't say it, but it depends whether people believe that person or not. So it's like, it's all the luck of the draw. And yeah, I mean, I fully understand why people love it so much, because each year there's going to be completely different storylines, completely different characters. So it's something new each time. I
feel like people probably always say like, oh my God, wouldn't it be iconic if you went back on like Celebrity Traitors? But you'd get voted off first.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately.
Yeah.
You could never play the game again.
No, I know. Because people always mention like a Traitors All-Stars.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I've been the only ever solo winner to win it. So if I lasted more than a day, even I'd probably take myself off, because I'd be like, you guys should just get rid of me. And I wouldn't blame them, because I would do exactly the same. Maybe if they put all the faithfuls together in one, and then all the traitors, so you can't come in with any pre-assumptions, you know, because everyone's been a traitor in their series.
Yes, that's iconic.
But then at the same time, I've been the only one to win it. Who knows? Maybe there's a part where I could get involved with the traitors and sort of help them, or that would be like their phone call, their one phone call, like phone a friend. But I think if I was in there, it would just sort of, I got to take my win and leave it, if you know what I mean, because I'd never be trusted again.
For sure. I do think you were probably the most iconic traitor.
Thank you.
I'm stating that on record. Sorry to Stephen when I bump into you at the next event, but like, it is
He's great though.
Yeah,
he's great.
Lovely jumpsuits, but I do think you were the most iconic traitor. You just sort of like had like a kindness for everyone, but also like a ruthless energy about it, which is pretty fierce. Yeah,
I think it was just being one step ahead. So I think where I said, you know, don't over prepare and don't overplay it, but I always had a thing of, especially it comes from the army. You know, you're in a situation where we could be under attack, and it's like, well, you need to think on your feet. How do you get everyone out? And how do you not lose people? You know, how do you keep everyone alive and get yourself out of a situation? And of course, it's only practice, but it puts you in the mindset of them situations. So when you're on the traitors, it's like, oh, boom, I'll just do this. And then because you don't overthink it, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. If that doesn't work out, then it doesn't matter. You just go from there. You know, you cross that bridge when it comes to it. So I think, I got very lucky with the being one step ahead, but also how I saw the game. I mean, it's funny because I speak to people now all the time, and they ask me, how did you do it? How did you do it? And it's like, when I speak to them, it's like their mind is blown by how I handled the game. And it's just, to me, it's normal. Like, to me now, I tell you, I was just a faithful. I still think of myself as a faithful now. Like the best faithful there was. Because technically I only was a traitor when I put a cloak on. When I took the cloak off, I'm just the same as everyone else.
Playing for the team.
Yeah, I just had an extra role at the end of the night when everyone else was asleep. You know, so I saw it two different ways. Like I saw it, okay, I'm a faithful every day, day to day. And then when I put my cloak on, I have to do the Traitors part for the game. But other than that, I'm just going to be the best faithful I can be. And that's where everyone goes wrong straight away. They're chosen to be a traitor and they go, oh my gosh, I'm a traitor. I need to act like a traitor. I need to be a traitor. Well, the best way to be the best traitor is to be the best faithful. It's not losing your stuff, you know, keeping your cool. And that's where everyone goes wrong. You know, they get chosen and they're like, now I need to think like a traitor and be a traitor. It's like, well, no, you don't. Because the best way to be one is to be a faithful. You know, because everyone loves this argument of like, who's the best traitor and things like that. I never get involved because, again, every series is completely different. You know, like someone from series 3 could have won series 2. I might have lost on series 1 or series 4 because it's just different people and who you get on with. But I always say, you know, when people would put heat on me, I just act completely different. So like, say if I said to you, oh, you're a traitor because you've done this and that around the round table, 9 times out of 10 people will be like, I'm a faithful 100%. It's like, well, you can't say any more. So how do you prove that? Whereas when someone would say it to me, it's like, that's fair enough. Why do you think I'm a traitor? And then they'll be like, oh, because you've done this, your mood's changed, your mood's done this, you're stressing too much. Well, of course I'm stressing because I'm just like you. You know, I'm a faithful in this game and I feel bad sending home fellow faithfuls when we're trying to get the traitors. So I accept why you think it's me, but I promise you it's not me. I've changed because of this and that. You know, I'm really stressed, ruining people's chances at winning this money. But thank you for coming to speak to me before so we could clear things up. But also before you go, did you see what so-and-so said to Thingy? And then you'll go, no, why? What did they say? And I said it was a bit dodgy how, you know, this person went for that person and switched that up. And then because subconsciously what I'm doing is I'm basically telling you I'm not a traitor, but I haven't reacted in a scared manner. And I've also told you, have you thought about so-and-so, someone who you've not even thought about? Then you go, oh, okay, well, Harry handled that fine. And actually, I haven't thought about that person. That is quite weird.
It's very gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's pot stirring, isn't it? Yeah. And again, I've got 5 brothers and sisters, so I've learned how to stir the pot many a times for my mum and dad to be the favourite child.
I would be genuinely a dreadful traitor because at that round table, if someone was like, I think you're a traitor, I'd just go, fine, yeah, sure. Go for it. Like, I just get very exhausted by those kinds of accusations. I'd be terrible. Are we allowed to know what you've done with the prize money?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm always open and honest about everything. Funny enough, the money I won, I was going there to get my foot on the housing ladder. So I had no money being in the army, and I sort of went to the Traitors to try and win this money. Firstly, to help my family and take us on holiday because we hadn't been on holiday since I was like 6 or 7. I can't believe I just done that on your podcast. But since I was 6 or 7.
We'll use that as a clip, please.
Yeah,
Thank
6,
you.
7. Because I had little brothers and sisters. So there was only like 3 of us alive, actually, last time we had gone on a plane. And then obviously my mum and dad decided to have a load more. So we just couldn't afford it as when we were kids. So I thought, I just want to take all my family away. Just be on a beach somewhere with my brothers and sisters who are all old enough to have a cocktail now, play volleyball with, just be adults. So that was one reason. And then the next was to pay off my mum and dad's personal debts and loans. So the money I've won the Traitors, I've still got now, funny enough. And I wish I could tell you, because if it was down to me, I'd put it all on red at a casino just for a laugh and see what happens. My dad, on the other hand, has his head screwed on. So he's put it all into an investment account. I paid my mum and dad's personal debts and loans off, so they didn't have to worry each month. And the rest is waiting for me to buy a house, which I'm hoping to do now, soon, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty tough at the moment.
Exactly.
For people to do things like that.
Yeah. And that's why I'm working on an amazing campaign with Skipton, which is called their track record. So basically they're working on something which, if you're a renter, they could give you a 0 deposit for your house. So imagine you've been renting for 3 years, but you can never, because you're renting in London or renting anywhere over the UK, housing prices are so much now, you can never afford to get that big pot up to put a deposit down on a house. So they're giving that deposit to people. So then you're technically still renting or using your rent money, but you're paying off your own mortgage to help you get a foot on the ladder. Because I mean, mate, honestly, over the last 50 years, housing prices has gone up by 2,385%.
Oh, good knowledge. Yeah.
50 years.
Yeah.
How is anyone supposed to afford a house,
And wages haven't gone up since 2008.
Wages haven't gone up. So wages haven't gone up, but the house prices have shot through the roof.
Yeah. I mean, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Just like to exist in this economy at this moment in time.
Again, I'm very grateful because I have that deposit. I have that pot of money where, and everyone says, well, why haven't you just bought a house now? Well, I'm now coming from the point of view of now I'm self-employed. I have won the Traitors money and I expected to go back to the army, which I did, and then I expected to have a job on the trains in London, just be like a normal job for me. And then obviously, luckily things came along and I took all the opportunities with both hands.
Yeah.
And it's just carried on rolling. 2 years later, I've bloody gone to Rome and met the Pope and things like that. So
we need to talk about that.
Yeah, so it's insane. So I've got very lucky in that sense, but at the same time, I'm also really scared to buy a house.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the same money coming in each month. Some months I might not even get paid. So it's how does that work out? Like, it's been the best job ever working with Skipton because they're giving me the information I need. They have mortgage advisors and they're like, no, you can afford this or you can afford that. Because it's a scary thing. Where do you even start for buying a house?
It's horrific.
You wouldn't even know where to start.
I wish, I had more of this information.
Yeah.
Because the only reason I managed to buy a house is because I won prize money on the BBC. And then when January rolled around and I had to pay my self-employed tax, I was fucked. So having that information would be really important.
Mm-hmm. And if you need it, you just go to skipton.co.uk.
That's skipton.co.uk.
Yeah, you do it way fancier than me.
Sometimes us men don't think much about what we wear, particularly in the summer months. You find something that's not too hot, put it on and repeat until it falls apart. This episode is sponsored by Quince, and they are changing the game for men this summer. Quince makes high-quality essentials in genuinely good materials, like breathable European linen and soft organic cotton, priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They do that by working directly with ethical factories and cutting out all the middlemen. You're paying for what it actually is, not what it's been marketed as. Their European linen pants and shirts are the kind of thing you pick up as one item and end up wearing 3 times a week, starting from just $34. The tees are soft and actually fit well, and the lightweight cotton sweaters are genuinely useful when summer evenings turn on you without warning, as they tend to. And they've gone well beyond clothing. Custom upholstered sofas, ceramic cookware, premium bedding. It's become the kind of brand where you end up recommending it for everything, which is either a good sign or a sign you've become a person who recommends brands. Either way, for a man like me, the linen shirt is a game changer. You can wear it an embarrassing number of times this summer and it never goes out of style or out of comfort. If you've been getting through summers on the same approach I used to use, then Quince is the upgrade for you. Elevate your summer wardrobe. Go to quince.com/wizardio for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/wizardio for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/wizardio.
You mentioned something there. I feel like we can't ignore the fact that you've met the literal Pope.
The Pope, yeah.
The actual Pope.
Pope Leo, yeah, the 14th.
How was that?
It's one of them things. It's like the Traitors. It's like, I wish I could put
it's like the Traitors. No,
I mean like the feelings. The feelings, like when I won the Traitors, it's like, I wish I could put it in a jar and give you a piece. Explaining it doesn't do it justice.
Yeah.
I think the best thing for me ever was my mum was there.
Wow.
And my mum has been the angel in my life. And I think, if we go way back, the story starts when I was in the army. I was with my ex-partner. That ended after 7 years. It ended while I was deployed overseas. So, the first heartbreak. I thought no one's ever going to love me again. So I got sent back home. At the same time, I had kidney stones for the second time. So I was told I had a slim chance of boxing again. And I only ever joined the army to box. Yeah. And again, this whole time, you're a boy in a man's world. So you sort of see what man can do to man. So you question faith and you question all the religion and all that stuff. And I was losing friends left, right and centre from the age of 16, just to the war in their own minds, then the war we're trained to do. So I got sent home. Then I got jumped by a gang. So they tried cutting my right ear off, knocked my 2 front teeth out. No matter, they gave me a bleed on the brain and fractured my skull here. But they knocked my 2 front teeth out, which was the worst because I looked terrible. But then I was told, okay, you're definitely not going to box again. And then obviously I got my teeth done. My teeth then got infected. I had an abscess, so I had to have them ripped out again of my face. So as you can imagine, this whole time, my period of my life was terrible. And I remember I went to my mum and I said to her, I was like, Mum, I feel like I've used up all my resources, I was like, I feel like a burden on the family. She was an A&E nurse, so she'd work for 12 plus hours and then come home and then have to take me to hospital. Yeah. I was like, it's just not fair. And I remember she said to me, she was like, no, love. And I think I work quite well off tough love, it was no crying into her arms, no I love you. It was just, can you promise me one thing? And I was like, yeah. She was like, just try praying for 30 days. And I remember that was the switch So I sort of, that December, I started praying. And I remember it was like, well, this is where I say, you know, like whether there's a God or not, or you call it meditation, to me, it doesn't really matter because it's what saved my life. I set an alarm for like half an hour to an hour, and I would F and blind at God. I would say, I can't believe you've done this. You know, I've lost my friend here. You've done this to me. Oh, how can you do this? And after an hour, you know, the alarm would go off and it's like, well, where did I get with that? If anything, I'm angrier than I was before I started.
Yeah.
So it was like, let's not waste any more time on it. And then I'd move on to, actually, thanks for this though. You know, thank you for letting me sit on a bed with a roof over my head.
Yeah.
Thank you for my mum, my dad, my brothers and my sisters. And what I was subconsciously doing was realising how lucky and grateful I was for the things I had in life. And that's why I say, you know, like now when I talk about money, it's like, well, if I was under a bridge tomorrow, but my family and friends were there with me, I'd be just as happy as I was today. You know, I've already won in life already. So it's just everything else is a bonus. And then, so I started praying like that, and then I started praying for strength. And it was, let me see my little sister's birthday. So it didn't happen overnight. And then it's funny because obviously my mum had always brought us up in church, but I always had these deep questions about things that happened. You know, the scandals. Why would I follow the church as such or give money to a church when all these scandals happen and these priests abuse their power? You know, things like that. I don't want to mess with something like that. You know, I just believe in God, and it's a personal connection. So no one can really tell me how to believe, but I can't also tell no one else how to believe. So at the end of the day, it's like I'm a very open person when it comes to my faith, because I think all faith is beautiful. Yeah. Because what my faith teaches me is to be the nicest possible version of myself. And if I've only got one life, why would I not want to do that anyway? Again, I have loads of gay friends who I love, and I think they know themselves better than I know myself. So it's like, well, what do you mean that they can't go to heaven with me and they can't go to church? And it's funny because all of these questions were questions I had going to Rome. So I did a pilgrimage on BBC, which was insane because, again, I'd sort of lost my way after winning the Traitors. You know, it was amazing. It made my life amazing, but no one saw what it done mentally. It was like, you know, I'm a kid from a council house in Slough. If I'm invited to a red carpet event every night in London and there's free alcohol, I'm going to make the most of it. Because I thought I'd be back on a building site 2 weeks after, you know, or working in London. I never thought it was going to carry on, and I never expected it to. So then what that subconsciously doing was getting me really fat, for one. And then I went on to Celebrity SAS, which was the worst show of my life. I hated every minute of it. And then sort of that's what really done me in, where I was like, I'm an embarrassment because of how I did on that. Everyone in the army's going to hate me. I'm never going to get any more TV work. This X, Y, Z. So then I remember turned back to religion, and I kept asking for a sign for my prayer. And then my manager rang me and said, BBC have asked, are you religious? And I was like, yeah, why? And then he was like, I just had a pilgrimage come across my desk. Would you want to do it? I was like, mate, I couldn't even ask for a better sign, you know? It's not just about my faith, but it's also work. It's TV work. And it's another show that I've got off the back of when I thought everything was going to come crumbling down. And I remember one night, best story in the world, I sat there with Tom, who's a producer. We're in this pilgrim hostel in the middle of the Alps somewhere. Didn't even know where we were, in Austria or Switzerland. And all the other celebs, again, I never call myself a celeb, but everyone else had hay fever and like allergic reactions. So they all had to leave to go to their hotels or whatever. And we're there. And I said, I'm staying next to this horse. Like literally it was like a hay barrel, and there was a horse next to me, a donkey, and a cockerel would walk past. I was like, I'm doing this like a proper pilgrim. And he was like, well, I'm going to stay and film you. So me, him, Jay from The Wanted, who's amazing, we're like, okay, we're going to stay and like do this properly. And the woman started speaking to us. She didn't speak a word of English. So thank God for Google Translate. And we started talking, and she said, in the wintertime, this valley's covered in snow. So all of the food, drink has to be gone. She comes in with a big surprise, and there's 2 crates of homebrewed beers. So we're sat there, as you can imagine, filming the night scene, and we're drinking these beers. And I remember me and Tom got chatting to each other, and he's like, what do you want to do next? You know, and I told him all of these shows, ideas for people suffering with mental health, or people thinking about joining the army, and just basically what I'd already been through in life to just help people, because that's all I wanted to do. He was like, yeah, but as a Catholic, what would you want to do? And I was like, well, you know, like I've come on this pilgrimage. It's helped me, but I still believe in the way I do. You know, I still believe God's a personal connection. Everyone is loved by God. Like, who are we to judge as human beings? You know, you can be whatever you want to be. And it's also 2026. Be whatever you want to be. You know, you could be brown, white, purple, blue, gay, bisexual, straight. It doesn't matter, because God doesn't care. He knows you better than anyone else. But obviously that wouldn't go down well with some people in church. So he was like, well, what would you do? And I was like, well, I guess I'll just go to Rome and ask the Pope all these questions. And he sort of nudged me. This was a year before. He was sort of nudged me after all the beers, going, yeah, that's the beer talking. And a year later, I was in Rome and met Pope Leo XIV for my mum. And I can't even explain, like, I mean, that's before I even get there, his aura of calmness. You know, like, he was the most chilled out guy I've ever met in my life. It was like having a pint with someone in the pub. It was insane.
Did you get to ask him any questions?
Yeah.
What did you ask him?
So imagine, right? Italians are pretty crazy. I've got Italian heritage. My nana's crazy. So I remember, we went there and I wasn't supposed to meet him. I was supposed to just meet these people from the Vatican who are quite high up.
Yeah.
Meet them, which we did. And then obviously one thing led to another, and they obviously liked me, I guess, and they enjoyed the conversations, and they knew how much people it could help me being able to speak about what they had told me. Yeah, it was like a evening. It was like 10 p.m. or something. And I got a phone call from someone in the Vatican. And they go, the Holy Father will like to meet you tomorrow, 6:30.
Why? Sorry, that's actually unhinged.
I know. There was like 6:30 tomorrow, Vatican gates, don't be late. The Holy Father wants to meet you. And I remember I was just like...
That's wild.
I was just like shaking. And again, I don't really get like choky. You know, it was a proper Tom Skinner moment. You know, when he's like, I'm not one to get nervous, but I'm starting to get a little bit shaky. You know what I mean? That was me going to meet the Pope. There was only 4 of us who went out to Rome and made this happen in like 5 days. So then obviously we go there the next day. And this is where I come into a story about Italians being crazy. It was like, you know, don't do this, don't do that. Don't bloody look the Pope in the eyes. Don't have your hands on show the whole time, because they have to worry about threats to the Pope's life and things. Yeah. I'm like, I'm just trying to ask him a few questions. You know, I'm not going to do anything. It's not going to be filmed. No photographs taken. And it's just going to be you. So I was like, oh, great. No one in the bloody UK is going to believe me when I get home saying I've met the Pope if I have no proof.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't really mind because it was more like a personal thing. And I can talk about, but again, I'm only going to get to ask him one question. He's walking off because the Pope had an audience of 8,500 people waiting. Anyway, as we're walking up to the Vatican gates, they're telling us all these things. Okay, it's going to be filmed, but no sound. And then they added it. Okay, there's going to be photos. No sound still. Okay, you and your mum are going to meet him. My mum burst out crying.
Aww.
And then so she's crying next to me. She's like, I haven't put my dress on. Like, I didn't know I was going to meet the Pope. She was like, I would have been smarter than this. Then she's crying. And then we all get lined up. So me, Johnny, my mum, Claire, and even the translator, Jacopo. And we're all lined up across like a corridor. And again, it was just, they were supposed to take me and my mum to go and meet the Pope somewhere. The Pope came early on purpose, just came around the corner while everything's going on and everyone's trying to decide where he is. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, like, you know, because they said, don't do this, don't do that. So I'm just there like kind of cross-eyed because I'm like, I can't look him in the eyes. I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. So, and I'm trying not to be, because I'm quite an energetic guy anyway, as you can see, I can talk for ages. So I was like, okay, I need to focus. I've got one question. And the Pope comes up to me and again, I'm getting like really shaking. And he just goes, hey, Harry, heard you want to meet the Pope? Well, here I am. And I was just like, oh my days. And I just clicked into, I can ask this guy anything and he won't think I'm weird at all. Yeah. And again, obviously I went to ask my first question. He goes, relax, Harry, relax. Let me meet the team. And I was like, this is my mum. This is Georgia. He's like, that's your mum? I thought that was your sister. I was like, the Pope flirting with my mum. That's like her claim to fame.
And also he sounds like the Fonz from Happy Days.
Like literally. And my mum, that's her claim to fame now. Then he met the whole team. So he met Johnny, Claire, Jacopo, the translator. And then we're chatting. He gave me a gift. He gave me like a blessed rosary and the whole team one. I gave him a Chelsea shirt, funny enough, with his name on the back. Because again, I only thought this was going to happen.
His name?
Yeah,
Pope.
his Pope Leo on the back.
Okay,
the Chelsea shirt with 14. Since then, we've been crap. So he's obviously not a Chelsea fan. He's definitely an Arsenal fan. Anyway, he goes to me, hey, Harry, you got 5 minutes? And I was like, the Pope's asking me, do I have 5 minutes? I'm like looking down the line. I got all bloody day if you need to. Like, what do you mean, do I have 5 minutes? So I was like, yeah, of course. I was like, why, what's up? And he's like, I'd love for you to come in my office and we can have a proper chat without the cameras, without the mics. And
what
I'm like,
the fuck?
Yeah. And you can imagine I'm stood there like, all right, yeah, let's do it. And then he's like, who do you want to bring? I was like, mate, you're the Pope. You tell me. Like, he was like, bring your mum, bring Johnny. Let's go. So then we're following him into his office and we sit in like this amazing office. And then we sit down, me next to my mum, next to Johnny, across from the Pope. And it was the most insane experience. I mean, it felt like 3 minutes for me. When I came out, Claire told me we were in there for 40 plus minutes. Just me and the Pope chatting. This is where I say, you know, me being me, I lose all of my... It's just another human being who I'm excited to talk to. So it was literally like speaking to someone in the pub. And funny enough, obviously I told you about like my mental health experiences and stuff. And before we even sat down, and the Pope said to me, he said, we've got a problem in today's world. He said the amount of people that do commit suicide, especially in the youth. And he said, I just want people to realise and learn that whether you have God in your life or not, life is worth living. And that's the ultimate message. And I just sat there and I thought, bloody hell, you know, like the Pope, who's the most holiest man on earth, you'd expect to have a faith baton and be hitting you over the head with it. You know, God is the only answer. God is this, God is that. But he was like, look, whether you have God in your life or not, life is worth living, and that's the ultimate thing. And I just thought, what an amazing man. And then again, obviously we were talking and I spoke to him for like, say my gay friends, and he said, well, who are we to judge? He's like, I'm a human being just like you. Who are we to judge? Everyone's welcome. And I was like, that was so nice to hear, because even I had this misconception of like the churches and people. And of course, you know, it depends on, just like schools. Some have horrible head teachers and some have horrible teachers. Yeah. It's just like the same with the church. You know, hopefully you just get lucky and the church you go to is accepting and the people are really nice. And the people, I guess, are like me, where God is just a beautiful personal connection. No one can tell you how to believe in it. And that's sort of what he was sat there saying. He loves the way I believe. You know, I would never force it upon someone and sit there and go, hi, I'm Harry Clark, Catholic. You know, he would just say, I'm just here. And if someone wants to talk about it, we can talk about it. And if you don't, we don't. So he was just amazing in that sense. And then even at the end, like where I say he was just a joker, I remember we sat there at the end and I said to him, look, I actually said a prayer for him out loud, which is crazy because it's Pope Leo. And who did I think I was? You know, that aura farming. But no, I was just like, how many people he must pray for in a day? How many times has he had someone sit there and pray for him out loud? So he said, yeah, of course, I'd love that. So I'm sat there praying for the Pope out loud. My mum's still bursting with tears. She just cried the whole time. Same with Johnny. And I said to him, I was like, look, Pope Leo, I feel a bit selfish now. I should probably let you get back and do your job. The rest of the world is waiting. And he was like, I guess so. So he stood up and he goes, hey, Harry, watch this. And he flips like a thing on his desk, presses a red button, and like the doors swing open and all these people run in, and I'm just there like, I swear I haven't done anything. You know, my mum and Johnny are sat there, we're just frozen like this, we haven't done anything. He just starts laughing and then walks off. He goes, catch you in a bit, Harry, because it was obviously like a panic button on his desk.
That's the most unhinged story I've ever heard in my entire life.
It's a mental side quest, isn't it?
You're a ridiculous person. Like, if you told me like in 20 years, I think I might be Pope, I'd go, yeah, I think you could probably do it based on this conversation.
Yeah.
That's wild. Who are you going to meet next?
Oh, I don't know. It's insane, isn't it? So it's just going with the flow, though. It's going with the flow and just treating everyone nicely. And so I'm a real sponge. That's how I think everyone should be. I mean, I love listening to you and your stories, and anyone I meet in life, I think you can just learn so much from them. Massive oversharer, but hopefully people do the same. And then it's like, wow, like I can learn so much from you and a bit from this person and that person. And it was exactly the same in the Vatican. I was just so interested in finding out things that I think they didn't see me as someone who wanted to, you know, make the church look a type of way or make it look like this. It was just, I was just there to meet and just be a nice person, you know?
I see that.
Who knows?
I don't think I've ever met anyone where I've gone, I think I need this person to be my best friend. I literally like, how do I make that happen? Yeah. That's wild. Can't wait for you to be Pope.
Thank you.
I'm gagged. This is like, I want people to react like I'm reacting when I tell people that I met Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
I feel like people are, thank you. Like? Not as good as the Pope.
What was she like?
Fine, but she's not the Pope. That's crazy.
Now, like, she was with Mac Miller, wasn't she? I love Mac Miller.
Yeah.
I've got a tattoo of him, actually.
Have you actually?
Yeah, Come Back to Earth.
Love.
One of my favourite rappers.
Does that mean that I have to get a tattoo of the Pope? Because we're like doing a tattoo exchange.
Well, we get matching tattoos of the podcast.
Because we're best friends.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you.
Before you go, Miss Olivia, Live, Laugh, Love, producer Livy, hates it when I tell everyone that she used to be a ballet dancer.
Really?
Yeah.
You got some strong ankles then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And like messed up feet. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
It must hurt, doesn't it?
It really hurts.
Oh no.
It really hurts. Anyway.
Pain is gain.
Right, so we're playing This or That. First question, dogs or cats?
I've got 2 cats, so I have to say cats.
I've got 2 dogs and a cat though.
Oh.
Yeah, I would actually, I love dogs, but Kevin's, he's called Kevin.
Okay.
Me and Kevin get on.
Okay.
He's like more chilled out, and I think there's not as much work with cats compared to dogs.
Oh yeah, they just get on with it.
I'll choose cats.
Okay. I want a dog though as well.
Yeah.
Cats it is. Okay. Ketchup in the fridge or cupboard?
Big fridge.
This is all you.
Big fridge.
I hate sauce. I'm the world's fussiest eater.
Do you not have
I
any...
hate ketchup.
Nothing to dip a chip?
Nah.
Not at all?
Nope.
What about a tortilla and salsa?
Nah,
no. Okay.
See, salsa, that makes me cringe. It's like avocado, isn't it? I tried avocado once and I was sick.
Okay. Oh, no, people have avocado allergies, but not a mayo person?
Nah. And the people who mix ketchup and mayo are the most mental people in the world. That's you, right?
Only if it's vegan mayo, because I'm intolerant to eggs. Wow, okay.
But it's got to be in the fridge, isn't it? You've got to keep it cold.
It has to be fridge. Once it's open, fridge.
Yeah.
Sealed, wherever you like.
I support that.
Thank you. You met the Pope.
Shower in the morning or at night?
I do both.
It's warm at the moment.
Yeah.
I support that.
I do both. No, even when it's freezing cold, I'm like a weirdo clean freak. I think it's from the army.
Yeah.
So like bed's made, shower first thing in the morning, wakes me up freezing cold. Then sometimes, like even today's like that today, I'll probably be home, shower, and then shower just before bed.
Did you have to do a shower scene for the Traitors?
Nah, I was a traitor.
Oh, so you never had
Freddie
to do
Fraser,
one?
my boy, took that anyway.
Yeah.
He's got a much better body than me. You wouldn't see my body.
Did you
But
have
yeah.
to like pretend that you filmed those?
Yeah, kind of.
What did you pretend that you did?
You know, it was one of them things where, because people go, it's so obvious, but when you're filming for like 16 to 18 hours a day, you don't realise when people are being taken off.
Yeah.
And because everyone gets taken off, you don't like lock onto it, and it wouldn't help you anyway, because everyone's always called for MIVs, or everyone's always called to do like a shower scene, or everyone's called for B-roll. So you would never realise. And for us, we'd just chill. When like I would come down to breakfast, obviously they would tell you just before you've made it to breakfast. And obviously most of the time the people I'm with are normally faithfuls, so we'd hug each other, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I made it to breakfast. And I'd wink at them as I'm like hugging them, and the producers behind would just try and hold in their laughter. I would play on it all of the time.
Play to the gallery.
I would ask to go out for fresh air, and they'd take me out for fresh air, and they'd be like, how are you doing? All right. I was like, yeah, did you like that acting? It was so bad. But yeah, I don't know, because I'm morning and evening, so it's hard. What would you rather, shower in the morning or shower
If I
in the
had to
evening?
choose one, it would be morning.
Would it?
But the actual answer is
Yeah, because sometimes...
when I need to leave the house.
No, we'll go with morning, because evening sometimes you get home and you're knackered, so you just pass out.
I'd rather have like I'm not really a bath person, but I feel like
Nah,
an evening bath.
I can't
morning
bath.
shower.
I pee in a bath. It's like my weird, embarrassing thing. Like if I touch water, I just wee. I don't know why. Swimming pool, I'm serial weeer.
Okay.
I do get out.
Have you ever been in one of those swimming pools where they have the dye that
No,
changes
I don't
colour?
believe. I think that's a myth that your mum and dad tell you when you were a kid. I've never been in a pool, weed, and a blue thing follow me around.
Okay, we need to test that. That's the next BBC doc right there.
Split the bill evenly or itemize down to the pound?
I'd split. Can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Unless it depends. It depends. If I've spent more, split the bill. Wait, no. If I've spent less, split the bill.
Yeah, because imagine we went out and then I didn't get any, or you didn't get anything, and then I just had loads of drink and stuff.
Then I'd say split the bill and hope the other person said, no, you didn't get as much.
Yeah, you'd split the bill. It's just a nice thing to do, isn't it? It's polite.
Sun holiday or ski holiday?
I've never been on a skiing holiday, but I really want to go on one.
I have no intention to ski ever
Really?
a day in my life.
Really?
I have no sense of
I do
adventure.
love throwing snowballs though.
Yeah, but don't need skis
and you
for
get
that.
drunk on the side of a mountain.
At Prey Ski.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm not even talking about the skiing. I'm talking about the throwing the snowballs while Aperol spritzes in your hand and you're drunk off a
You
mountain.
sold me as long as we don't have to actually ski.
Yeah. But I would go sun. There's nothing better than sitting on a sun lounger next to a pool.
I love that. And peeing in the pool as well. We're
Not
going
me,
sun.
Okay, final question. Traitor or faithful?
Interesting.
I mean, you know what my answer's going to be. 100% a faithful, of course.
100% faithful. Just to be able to say 100% faithful, I want to say faithful.
Yeah.
But I bet it's more fun being a traitor.
Oh, definitely. You have way more control. A traitor all the way. And people who say they'd rather be a faithful are just lying. They're the worst faithfuls ever. I think if you ever got the option, if you was going on the game and they actually said, okay, you can choose, we're not choosing for you, would you definitely say faithful instead of traitor? Think of all the control you have. You know you're going to sleep at night. You know who the other traitors are. You know who you're trying to get past, and you know who you're trying to get away from. And most of the time, you don't really have to do much. Like I said, it's stirring the pot.
I think on the basis that I know that you have experience as a traitor, so can give me advice, and you have all the authority of the Pope and the Catholic Church on your side, I think we're going to say traitor.
Traitor.
Yeah.
Traitor always.
That's the game. Thank you.
Perfect. No, thank you for having me.
What was our score?
It wasn't a score. It was just.
What did you agree with?
I just found a lot out, like the peeing in the
great.
bath. So
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that. That was way too much oversharing, right? But it's a thing, I guess.
It is a thing. I feel like people...
I don't purposely pee in a pool, though. I just pee in a bath. That's why I don't bath. So never get in a bath with me, basically. That's all you got to worry about.
I feel like that is a lovely way to end.
Yeah.
That's the button. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.